It's the Dr. Christmas Show, solving all of your holiday conundrums, one celebration at a time.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Christmas Show. It is September, and I'm so excited to have a great guest on today to talk to you about her wonderful wares and what she creates, but I'll get into that in a moment. I'm so glad you're here as we get into fall. It's upon us, and those last couple months of the year are always the big ones, hopefully for you, but I know they are for me. As we go into September, back to school mode, and get back into our routine, we start to see cooler days, start enjoying the scents and smells of the season because fall is upon us, and pretty soon it'll be Halloween, and then we jump into Thanksgiving, and then you know the drill. Right after that, it's all things Christmas. So let's take them one at a time so that we can enjoy them all. But some things we have to get a little bit of a head start on, and there's lots of debate out there about whether we should Christmas shop early or leave it to the last minute or do it in July. It's really a personal preference, right? Some people don't shop at all, which is great too. Some people find other ways of expressing joy and appreciation during the holiday season, and sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with gifts. And for those of you that are in that mode, I think that's awesome. For some of us, we really enjoy the gift of giving. And when it comes to this time of year, we may struggle a little bit on what to give others, gifts that we think are meaningful or that hold a significant amount of value and not monetary, not value in the almighty dollar. So the guest that I have on today, I think, creates some of the most beautiful things. I really wanted to have a good conversation with her and talk to her about why she does what she does, because it has a little bit of a special story. So without further ado, let's get into talking to my special guest today. I'm super excited to bring you a crafter that I think is amazing. Her name is Jen Vodrska, and she hails from the other coast. And today we have her on the show. We have her on the Dr. Christmas Show. Thank you, Jen, so much for your time. It's awesome to talk to you. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you, Yvonne. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. Well, I have been just ecstatic about your wonderful wares and the craft that you do. But I want to back up a little bit and talk about you as a person, not just as a crafter, but tell me a little bit about you and your family and where you live.
Sure. I live in the town of Eastchester. It's just 30 minutes north of New York City, Westchester County. I have 2 sons, a couple of dogs and a cat and turtles.
Full farm.
And I work at an equipment company for the past 18 years, just an office manager.
Not just, that's a lot.
Right.
Never just. You manage an office. Wonderful. Obviously, you must be a lover of Christmas and the holidays, but what other hobbies and things do you do in New York?
Absolutely. Well, whenever I do have downtime, I'm usually crafting or trying to get some exercise in or just hanging out with my sons. But concerts and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
there's a lot going on, and you're in a great place to do all that. And how old are your sons?
They just turned 13 and 9.
13 and 9, so they're in the great holiday years. The reason that, of course, you're a favorite of Dr. Christmas for me is about your company and what you do. You're an amazing crafter. Can you tell me a little bit about your company and tell us all about Cheerful Spirit and how you got it started doing this craft?
Oh, sure. Well, I was looking for a craft to do to begin with. I realized that I never had a crafty any creativeness in me to do anything, but I used being busy as an excuse. I started realizing that. So I was just looking for something, and I knew I wanted it to be a type of gift. At the same time, being on Etsy and all around the web, all the beautiful bottle creations that people would make, whether they were painting them or adding string lights, they would just do all different things, but I wanted to put something in the bottle and not just make a lamp or glass. I wanted to make it a centerpiece, and I just kept brainstorming, what can I put inside this bottle to be different and to start my own little hobby. I wanted something unique.
Yeah, so it all started with you sort of doing your own perusing of the web and online stores and what was out there already. And that's what brought you to the bottle art that you do.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
So I just started trying different things, and that's when I said one day, a bottle brush tree, like, I just have to see what this looks like. And when I put it in, I bought string lights from the local craft store and made a hole in the side of the bottle, kind of the way you would do for a lamp. And I just thought it looked so beautiful, and I was running around my house with it, so excited. My mom was over, and I'm like, do you see this? But eventually I tried just different colors, different lights, and I had one out on my table, and I would get compliments, and then I made them. The first year, I just made them as gifts, and I gave them out, and I was so excited that I made a gift that people like and that's creative and thoughtful and something I made. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah, little by little, word of mouth got out, and then now I'm so excited.
Such a beautiful feeling, like where that came from. So it really came from a place in your heart that you thought you couldn't craft. You didn't have any crafting skills. You weren't talented, and you were just looking at other things that other people did. And then it sort of struck you that, wow, maybe I can do this. So you did all the hard work and all the labor of trying to figure out what would be special for your bottles. And
yeah,
right? And then you gave them as gifts. And what a feeling when people love them, right? Or saw them on your coffee table or on your dining room table and thought, I really love that. That must have been amazing.
And most of all, I was so excited just not to paint a bottle anymore.
So you started out painting. That was one of the things you tried.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't go so well.
Nope, I'll leave that to the talented glass painters out there. Oh, goodness.
The other artists.
But,
okay. But you found a great way. You found a simple way. Because to me, a lot about Christmas, people get frustrated with the holiday, is because it's the abundance, it's the over the top. And although that can be really great, sometimes the simplicity is what makes Christmas so amazing to me. It can
Absolutely.
be simple. And so I love your art and your creation because it is simple. It isn't too much. It's just a very simple thing that can mean so much. And when I think about Christmas, I think about lights, I think about the tree and being cheerful and being in the spirit, and there you have it. You have Jen's work. There you have a beautiful piece of artwork from Cheerful Spirit that makes sense. And I guess that's probably what you felt like, right? When it was simple. It's still not easy to do. It takes a crafter, and I'm sure it takes a lot of talent, which you definitely have. Maybe it's not in the painting arena, but it's other talents that you have here to create this bottle.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I just had to hone in on what worked for me, and I kept trying until I found it. And it is a simple idea, but you can bring it out so many ways. And like you said, light, trees, cheer, it all comes together and just is exciting to look at, to create.
And your family was probably it sounds like your family was pretty supportive with this venture or this idea that you had. Were they supportive or were they scratching their head going, what are you doing, Mom? What are you...
Oh, they were so supportive, both of my boys and my family. I even told them ahead of time, I said, look, I'm getting into something. I might sound a little crazy, and you might hear a lot of glass breaking in the garage, but everything is okay.
I love it. So yeah, it's a true art. You had to keep working at it to perfect it. And now you're getting you're doing some revamping and some marketing and a nice new site for this year. Is that right with Cheerful Spirit?
Yes, this will be the first year I'm putting it out there to the public. I actually have a little assembly team.
You've got an assembly team. You got a bunch of little elves helping you?
Yes, exactly. I wanted to make larger quantities, and I realized, okay, I could only make so many,
Yes.
And we're going to be able to make, I believe we're doing about 2,000 pieces this year.
Wow, that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. From your little cubbyhole in your garage, trying something out, running around the living room, going, look, Mom, there's lights in this thing, to 2,000 pieces. That is awesome. How long does it take you to make one of these bottles, or these spirit bottles, as I like to call them?
I would say it takes a total of, we do each thing, and so we cut our hole, we dress the tree at all different times. So if we're doing like 50 of them, we'll do 50, we'll dress 50, then glue 50, then each at a step. But
as you said, that's the assembly line, right? Of little elves working.
If we add it all up and divide the hours, the people, and the time, it comes out to about 20 minutes a bottle.
20 minutes a bottle. Well, you're getting it down to a pretty good science, because your artwork and what it looks like is just so much more than that. And I know it's a labor of love, no matter how long or how short it takes you to make these, because it keeps going. You have to make sure they're packaged safely, and that they're shipping them, and there's the exchange. I mean, a business is a really tough thing to do, even if it's a hobby or something on the side, because like you said, you're an office manager. You still have a day job and lots of responsibilities for the family, right? So to carve out time for this hobby, it is a labor of love, right?
Absolutely. I'll catch up on some sleep later.
After the season, right?
And of course, I had to ask Jen about her last name, Wadrska, because that's not something you hear every day. And she had a pretty good story.
It's Czechoslovakia.
Oh, it's beautiful. I was like, okay, I'm going to butcher that one.
I just found out as I started doing these bottles is that my mother's side is all Italian descent. I'm half Czech and half German from my father's side. And when I was reading a lot about like Christmas trees in general, just to learn about where does it come from and everything, just learning about all the German behind the Christmas tree tradition, I was thrilled that I'm partly German through my father's mother. She was the one that always made me feel cheerful around the holidays, and she passed away recently. But I found out like after she passed away, and it was one of those things that like I'll just cherish,
Absolutely, because then you have the Tannenbaum blood in you, right?
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. I'm like German tree.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
I couldn't think of the word.
And then Jen and I talked about how Christmas time shopping can sometimes be a little hectic and, well, downright frustrating.
People get a little frustrated with shopping. And I know that this is one of the reasons that I love to do the Dr. Christmas show, and I have my newsletter and have my blog and I have my website at drchristmas.com. The reason, that I want to let people know that it doesn't have to be difficult and that you really can enjoy the holiday without stressing. And one of the biggest tips that I like to give people, of course, is if they're going to give gifts, not saying that they have to, because that's completely optional. You don't have to give gifts in order to have a good Christmas. I really believe that. But a lot of us really enjoy the gift of giving, as I call it. It makes me feel good to give gifts. Right. And to not be stressed is to start a little early, especially if you find something that you really like and that you want to, give as a beautiful gift, which is yours. It's just a beautiful, perfect gift to give. And so in order to get order in, or for you to make something, people have to be a little ahead of time. You can't just order, late in the game, right? Especially if you've only got 2,000 that you're making. And who knows, you might sell out this year with all those little elves working away. But, when's a good time for someone to order from you? Obviously, any time, I would assume. But for this holiday season, like, when's the cutoff? Like, when do you have to have that order in by in order to make sure that somebody gets your gift?
Okay. I would say to guarantee that would be right before Thanksgiving.
Gotcha.
Because whatever's left from, if I'm going to do a Black Friday sale, it's going to be similar to what you would get if you ordered in October or November. But I would say early November is the best time to order.
Great. Okay. And where can people find your work? If you have to see these bottles, folks. I mean, if you just have to look at how beautiful these creations are. But I know you're on Etsy, and you're going to have your own website as well, right? So is it at cheerfulspirit.com?
Cheerfulspirit.com. That's where you will go, and we are so excited. Our new website will be out the middle of this month.
Middle of September, perfect timing for people to get their orders in, or at least to look at your stuff. And I know, you recycle stuff, which is awesome too. So you're using empty wine bottles and other spirit bottles. If somebody had a custom order, I did see some custom trees on your website. Obviously, they have to give you plenty of time to come up with whatever you need to do to decorate a tree. How does that work if someone has a custom order?
Yeah, so I say allow it, a couple of weeks, because I might need to order certain ornaments that you need. So I had someone who wanted a special gift for her hairdresser, and I said, okay, I can do this in 2 weeks, because I knew I would need to order the ornaments and to cut out the ornaments, brushes and blow dryers, and
so cute. I love that. I thought about that. I put that on my blog, folks. You have to see that. If you go to cheerfulspirit.com when it's up and running, you can see that. If you want to see it now, you can go to my blog. You can get there through my website at drchristmas.com, drxmas.com. You can go to the blog page, and there is the cutest, just adorable bottle that she has with a tree in it. Perfect for a hairdresser, with little scissors and a blow dryer and just all the things. What a special gift. A lot of people sit there and scratch their head. What do I get my stylist this year? What do I get this particular person? And they may have everything already. Sometimes gifts are difficult to get for people who you think have everything. Well, they don't have this, and they don't have it customized for them, which is what I think is super precious. So you need about 2 weeks, right, and to make sure that you can do it, and that there's enough out there, and if it's a theme tree. How much do you charge? What are the ranges for the bottles? They must range and vary a little bit, but do you have some price ranges for people?
Yes, they will range from $40 to $50.
$40 to $50, which is a fantastic gift. Does that include shipping as well, more or less, or is that extra?
More or less.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. And so you're
shipping will be around $5 every time, or free if you order 2 or more bottles.
Okay. So if you order 2 or more bottles, then you get free shipping. So folks, you have to check out these bottles. There's no payment going on here. We're strictly doing it. Jen does it for the love of her craft and getting paid for her time. I'm talking to Jen because I saw these beautiful bottles, and I thought I have to talk to her and see what she's all about, and see what these beautiful bottles, where they came from. So I know we talked a little bit before. We were talking about where this came from, and I know you were looking at other crafts online and thinking, I really want to do something that comes out of me, that I can be crafty. But there's some deeper feelings there that we talked about a little bit. Were you frustrated with Christmas too at some point?
All the time. Every year it rolls around, and I would think to myself that I'm an awful gift giver, and someone's going to give me something, and I'm going to wind up not giving anything, I don't know, that would compare. And I always just kind of felt bad about that, even though the person on the other end might not be expecting anything, or just,
Right, isn't that weird that we're giving this gift and we feel like idiots? We're like, oh, this gift sucks. I don't, we didn't think about it. It's the last minute, and it's frustrating. Yes.
Because I think it is absolutely all guilt right there. Because we know in our mind, I didn't have time to think, or not, but I love this person dearly. I didn't give myself enough time ahead of time to order something, and I think for me it was that guilt.
Yeah.
So when I would give them I would say to myself, this person deserves a handwritten card. I should make a card. I love this person, be it family, friends, coworkers, whoever I wanted to make feel special. I felt like I just didn't do what I wanted to do, and I always felt that way. Every year I would put myself through this torment of, I'm so bad, I'm so awful, and then never give myself the chance to just be a good gift giver or think about it for a minute and put aside the time. I would just feel horrible every single year, and that leads to my my thinking that I need to find a gift that I could give. I want it to be handmade. I want it to be something they'll like. Little by little I realized, okay, all these people that I'm thinking about love wine.
Yay for wine drinkers of America. Unite. How else do moms and busy people get through, and people who work, and we're just all so busy,
right?
And stressed out.
And before Christmas, they love wine. So this will fit for, and I was able to check off, quite a few people on my list other than the children.
Yep.
I was able to make this craft for them, and it was just so enjoyable, and it made up for all those years of frustration.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of that, and that's why I wrote my book, and I know that you're wonderful and that you've listened to my book on tape, Taking Back Your Holidays, and you picked it up at Amazon, and you told me that it meant something to you, and that resonates with me, because I keep trying over and over again to get to those people, yes, those who love Christmas, but those who may want to love Christmas and they're so frustrated by it with just the very thing that you said. They have very busy lives and they just don't slow down enough in order to enjoy the holiday, and then it passes you by. Then you're even more frustrated because you think, wow, I didn't even enjoy that. How can it, right? How can it be a new year and I didn't, or I was so busy and so involved that I didn't take a break to breathe and to look. And just, look up at the decorations, to savor that hot chocolate, to have a moment to myself where I can be a kid again. And that's, I think, what I love about your bottles. I mean, even though they're in a wine bottle, but kids don't know that. They're not missing out on the wine. What I think is the fascination is the lights and looking at something so pretty and so unique and so different in the middle of the table or on the mantle or getting it as a gift. That's what you stare at, right? The little blinking lights, those fine moments of quiet in Christmas, to me, are absolutely so magical. And I think that's what your bottles represent.
It's so funny because I said, someone who will want to buy this is going to be like me. They're going to be a female around my age looking to decorate. And the best reactions I got were from children and the older crowd. So I had one lady, I was at an event in New York City to promote. This little girl ran up to the table and was like, "Mom, I want this, I love it." And I wanted to just cry right there. I thought it was so sweet. That meant more to me than anything. And just how it lit up this little girl's face.
Yep.
And then I had one lady call me up and say, "I just saw your bottle in the wine store by my house, and I was going to get a gift for an old man." I guess he was around close to 90, and she said, all I could think of was to pick him up a bottle of liquor.
Wow.
And when I saw your tree in the wine store, I needed to have one of these.
So, wow. What a great feeling.
It sounds like jingle bells, but this is the dog's bell to go outside.
Oh, cute. Okay, he's gotta go potty, Mommy, so you gotta let what kind of pup do you have?
A beagle.
A beagle. The beagle has to go out. Yeah, my Labrador is not so smart with the bell. But well, I love everything about what you're doing, Jen. I think it's fantastic, and I agree wholeheartedly that your gift does not have a certain age. And I know when you're marketing something, it's always about have that perfect person who, that perfect shopper who's going to own your bottle, right? And she has to look like me and maybe be my age and want and need the same things that I do. And that's all great for marketing purposes. I get it. I come from a marketing world. But you'd be surprised how Christmas touches a wide range of ages, from the little ones all the way, you said it, to a 90-year-old man. And your gift touches that for people who don't maybe have a lot of room for a tree, to put a tree up. One of my big things is if you're going to celebrate Christmas, you got to have a tree. I don't care if you paint it on the wall. I don't care if you put a poster up of one. I don't care if you put it on your computer screen. It's the gathering. If you don't have a real tree, fake tree, whatever you have, small or large, you should have that centerpiece in your home. And I think your bottle's perfect. How easy is that? Right? You just order this bottle, and yours lasts forever. It's an evergreen, right? As long as you package it away nicely and safely, you take it out every year, and there you have your tree. So a 90-year-old gentleman who celebrates Christmas or has that wonderful gift gets the gift of a tree. I think that's pretty magical.
Thank you so much. It's so much fun.
Awesome. Well, again, for people who want to check out Jen's wonderful, beautiful vintage bottles that you make that just look so retro, too. I mean, I know you're using current recycled bottles and maybe some old bottles, but they look so vintage, and you add such a beautiful touch to them. They have a little bit of snow in them. They have the lights, and they have the decor where you can customize. And you do them for all holidays, so people can really get one. I saw one for St. Patty's Day. I saw one for the 4th of July. You're my kind of gal. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You can get bottles for every month of the year, right? And keep you and your elves busy.
Before I started making these, I have to say my favorite holidays were Easter and Thanksgiving because we didn't have to think about gifts.
Yay! Right? Thanksgiving, you just show up for the meal, right? There's maybe you bring a pie or a bottle of wine, right? And no stress, and you get to see everybody, and you get time off, and you get a good meal. I hear you. I get it. I really do love Halloween as well, but sometimes that can be a lot of work. But if you want to get into the spirit of dressing up or having a haunted house or a party or something like that, but I hear you. Thanksgiving and Easter were sort of the low. Oh, your Beagle's gone. What's Beagle's name?
Penny.
Mm-hmm. Penny's getting excited. That's why she's excited for the holidays. But as I was saying, these are the low requirement holidays, right? Thanksgiving and Easter. So before Christmas, you didn't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, it was always a stressful thing thinking about Christmas coming up, and I guess also the way certain people grow up, and if their families didn't celebrate, they might not know of the joy that can be brought of it.
Good point.
My new favorite tradition is just baking cookies with my sons, and if I could get that one day a year to do that with them every year, it's just a simple idea like that, just to have that time with them, and I always look forward to it every year.
Absolutely, and what a great tradition. And it doesn't have to be difficult. I mean, I talk about that in my book. There's easy recipes out there. A lot of people do some very extravagant cookies, and I love those. But I also just love good old-fashioned chocolate chip. It's okay. To me, if it's a Christmas time, it's a Christmas cookie. So I have recipes in my book where you can freeze the dough early. You make it right after Halloween. Start with your kids early. And you can break it up to where you don't have to do everything in one day. Freeze the dough, and then as you get closer to later in November or after Thanksgiving, you have that dough. You just get time with the kids, and you're cutting up dough already, right? And that's making cookies with the kids.
Oh, it's so true. And as you said it in your book, I was like, yes, I need some of these tips, and all of your tips were just so helpful, and I just love the history, especially when you talk about Christmas carols, because that's another favorite of mine.
Oh, are you a caroler? Do you like to go caroling?
I don't go caroling.
But just music in general, right? Listening to Christmas carols.
I have to say that I love that most about Christmas is the carols. I will start playing them from right after the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Like I said before, for people who didn't know, I didn't really know either. My advice is just to sit back and think about Christmas. Take away all the commercial. Think about yourself. Remind yourself we don't need to be Scroogey. We can just tap into our own, what will make me happy this Christmas, and just find it in yourself.
That's perfect.
What would make you happy.
Yes.
And then I think you'll start enjoying it.
Sometimes we do because our family didn't or did in a certain way.
That's true, right. Some people just lessen it a little bit, too, because their family overdid.
Right. It was too much. It's like, I'm not going to go crazy like Mom and Dad did, or Uncle Tom, or Aunt, Rose. No, I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah, maybe they traveled too much and were just around too much family, and now they just stay home with their immediate family, and I think that's lovely, too. I celebrate it with my family, aunts and uncles, every year. I grew up in the Bronx, so it was fun because everyone was close to us. I don't really remember much about childhood and Christmas. I do remember just being young or youngish and teenager and enjoying it. Then the stress kicks in, but it doesn't always have to. And I love that message that you share in your book. It can be just take it back, have a holiday, become a kid again, just enjoy it. It's so important.
Yes, it is important because not everybody has a joyous Christmas time or is exposed to great Christmases when they're young. So, they tend to get older and then they're angry towards Christmas because it wasn't good for them. And the whole idea is to make it good for you. You have the power now, you have the control to be a kid again, to enjoy the things that maybe passed you by. when you were young. Like you said, for others that maybe celebrated it too much, that it was too busy and they were out visiting everybody and maybe it was over the top. And now you have control as an adult to bring it back and to put it in a way that matters to you, to share with your family and your children or your relatives or your special someone in your life, or even if you're single, to spend it just having a wonderful experience with friends and other family members. It doesn't have to be the heartache that maybe it was when you were young. I get a lot of people go, I do Christmas wrong, so I don't do it at all. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? There's no doing it wrong. I joke in my book about the Christmas police. No one's you're not going to get in trouble for doing it the way that you want to do it yourself.
Absolutely.
Sounds like you're doing an amazing job. You'll put on your Christmas music, you'll get to your bottle work, and you'll be ready for Thanksgiving too, right? You'll bounty up to that table and have good food, but now you don't have to stress about what you're giving this year, right?
That's right.
You know what you're giving, and what a beautiful, beautiful gift. I think it's awesome. So it sounds like your advice and my advice for Christmas is pretty much the same, right? We need to stress less and enjoy more. Do more Christmas merrymaking for yourself. And
exactly.
Right? Make it more about what you want. So you've already told me a little bit about your traditions. You like to make cookies with the boys. That's awesome. You obviously love to craft and do your bottles and to listen to Christmas music. Is there anything else that you really love during the holidays, or advice that you can give to others that they might try if they haven't? I mean, you're in the best place, New York. You get your snow, you get your white Christmases, hopefully, fingers crossed, and it's just so beautiful. But what are the other things that you really love about Christmas time? There's so much, I know. But
I know, there's so much. I would probably reiterate about just learning to relax, and so we remember people and places, and it does get a little sad, but I think to turn that and bring the best out of it would be the best idea. I enjoy to do that, and I have these bottles to turn to. I had my father with me every single Christmas, and he just passed away this past Christmas.
I'm sorry.
And it was, you don't want to see anyone suffer. When he was laid to rest, he passed away on December 27th, and I remember that Christmas he was at the table, and it just felt so terrible. And I think that's where a lot of us get our kind of like Christmas sadness from. It's just we want to feel like kids, and maybe the same people aren't around that were there when we were kids. But
really good point.
I just kept thinking to myself about how he would watch me, whether it was do a craft or work on my yard, and he would just smile, and I just focused this past year on the positive things, or what would he be thinking, right now, and how did he like the bottles, and it kind of it helped me through so much. And if we could try to spin it a positive way for ourselves and just forget about all the hustle bustle out there, and I think we could really enjoy the holidays, and everything handmade. Handmade is beautiful.
Yes, I
Shop
agree.
small, think of handmade.
Shop small, handmade. That's where, you're so great. I know you're on Etsy as well, and you have your Facebook page for Cheerful Spirit, and now you're going to have your new, your revised and revamped website. Everything you said is so true. I recently lost my mom, who was the biggest lover of Christmas, and one of the main reasons I finally wrote the book and got it done is because it was for her. And you're right, she passed away right before Thanksgiving, which made all of the holiday time so difficult, immensely difficult. I couldn't bring myself to just not celebrate it, because then I almost felt like I wasn't celebrating her. And it was difficult, especially, with my birthday being on Christmas. It's a heavy load to want to celebrate when you've lost someone or there's tragedy around that time. And I get that. It takes time to grieve and get through it. But I think some of the best medicine is to be able to have really positive thoughts about those who you miss and who you love.
Yes.
And I bet your grandfather is looking down on you and loving those bottles for so many reasons. I'm sure he was a wine drinker. I had something telling me he was a wine drinker. Right? But,
it was the first lamp I made, actually.
It goes around. and I think my mom's smiling at me and looking at the book, and she's proud of us. She's proud of our work, and she's proud. He's proud. They're proud of us carrying on the legacy of Christmas, because that's what it's really about. I mean, when you hear about Ghosts of Christmas Past, one of my favorite carols carols, A Christmas Carol, and stories, when you talk about Ghosts of Christmas Past, even the Polar Express, you have a little bit of these ghosts involved in Christmas. I really do think it's the spirits that have come before us and trying to encourage us to remember that life is precious and to enjoy it while we're here and to make memories before we move on to whatever we're supposed to do next, right? So I'm a firm believer in that. So I think your bottles hold that magic and mystique. And I hope for everyone out there that you'll pick up a bottle and check out cheerfulspirit.com this season. Order yours early so that you can get one of Jen's specialties, and especially if you want a custom order with some great idea you have, or maybe share with Jen who is the person that you're trying to give the gift to. Send her a quick message, and I'm sure she can come up with something amazing for you. And I think for the price, it's a gift that just keeps on giving. So I want to say good luck to you and your elves this season. I hope you sell a whole lot of them and you sell out of them, because really it's about sharing the Christmas spirit with everyone else. And
absolutely,
I'm just super, super excited to feature you. And I hope that everyone out there who's listening will at least take a look at these bottles. And I'm sure there's someone in your life that you're going to want to give one to and get one for yourself. And remember, if you buy two, that's one for you and one for somebody else. You get free shipping. So I like that. I like that a lot. And you can also check out her work on my website at drchristmas.com, in my blog, and in my newsletter. And so I hope you subscribe as we talk about all things holiday. Jen, it was a pleasure having you on today. Thanks for sharing your time with us. I know you're a busy, busy gal. And,
thank you, Yvonne.
I can say happy holidays early, because you and I are in it to win it and to enjoy it. So happy holidays to you. And I hope we'll talk again. We'll talk again, and maybe after the holidays we can talk again and see how you did and what some of your favorite bottle creations were for the season.
Oh, sounds great.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much. And hey, here's to you, everybody out there. Happy September. Get into the spirit. Get happy. Get into the spirit, because before you know
it, have a cheerful spirit.
There you go. I like it. Have a cheerful spirit. You heard it from her. Thanks, Jen. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye.
The Dr. Christmas podcast is recorded at Resonant Audio and produced by Second Sense Creative.